people. We're going to stand.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
And then we're going to lie down, but...
Yeah. I'll go first.
Yeah.
All right. So, hi everybody.
Hi. Thank you very much for coming to see us. This is awesome. Even in this 95-degree weather, which is not so awesome, but you know.
This is the best time I've ever had. Okay, that was the best time I've had. Thank you so much for coming. Is Zombie Girl here?
No, they aren't. Here's the thing, there's a few people who are in the bathroom because there's like...
Oh, listen, yeah. Should we wait for them to get back? You know what? I don't want to waste your time here. Jake's one of you run along. You know, we are very close, Gates and I. As a matter of fact, I am her son's godfather. Isn't that right?
I don't have a son.
No. He's 47 years old today. I want to wish him a happy birthday.
Yes, that's true. He is the godfather of my child.
I am.
I've made a few mistakes and that, you know. I do my best, all right?
And I have guided him religiously. Isn't that what it's supposed to be, right?
That is, it's supposed to be that.
That's what God parenting is supposed to be.
That's
You're
right.
their religious guide,
Yes.
or whatever.
And I remember that day very well.
I do too.
All I can say is boy, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, have we had enough of this? Shall we have some questions? You know, we do that sort of Shatner-esque thing. You ask a question, and then we do 30 minutes. So we've got time for one or two questions, I think. And then we're out of here. Let's start with questions. We have one person who wants to know something.
So, after all of these years, what really sticks with you at this point from your time on the show?
The oatmeal, right? Oh, with the show. I didn't hear that part. I'm sorry. You want to go ahead?
No, you go ahead.
Very little, actually. I remember my character's name. Yeah, a cat, I made.
Yes, a redhead cat, yes.
Yeah, two, actually.
Yes.
One
I
male,
directed
one
one
female.
of them, so I know this, yes.
Do you remember that? The male and the female? Okay.
I remember. I also know how to turn you on, so let's not go there.
That's true. I think probably turn you on too, right? You know what? Believe it or not, and speaking of the moment of turning me on, that's a euphemism, by the way, for something. You know, I'm getting a phone call right now, and whatever it is, an email, I'm going to read it to you. It says, my son Kevin recently graduated from the International something program at Land O'Lakes High School in Florida. As part of the community reach, and this is the kind of
They
interesting
take a lot of
stuff I
money.
get. All right, never mind.
Yeah.
So
basically nothing stuck with him, right?
no, I want to tell them about one moment that stuck with me because she brought it up, the turning me on moment. So I'm going to illustrate this, but not a lot. Maybe better. Well, we had this episode. I don't remember the name of the episode. I'm sure you do. Perhaps you could remind me. But Dr. Crusher, played by Gates McFadden, came behind me and pressed a button. I think it was the first time that ever happened on the show. Pressed a button to turn me off, which she can do. And, she turned fell forward onto a table.
With the game.
The game. Thank you so much. Hermione, if I may call you. So, we did the rehearsal. I remember the director was Corey Allen, who directed our pilot too, by the way, called Encounter at Farming, exactly. And first rehearsal, Gates comes behind, we figured out where the button's gonna be, she pressed it, I fell forward, and I hit my chin on the edge of the table.
And you needed a doctor, and there wasn't one around.
Exactly.
What they were doing.
Exactly. You know that is the classic place that most people have stitches in their lives, is on their chin. The mandible bone, I believe it's called. Anyway, they had to rush me to an emergency room in full data makeup. I went in, they took me in, the doctor sewed it up, went back to the set, we resumed where we left off. The director said to me, "Do you mind doing it again?" So, but indeed, Michael Westmore puts a patch. He was our makeup artist, and he put a patch of something under and made up over it. You can't see it.
But you were an android, so you didn't really feel anything.
Well, I didn't feel it, no, but I still bleed, right?
I thought that was a special effect.
No, that was real blood running down my neck. Anyway, I still have a scar right here from that day, and I always think of you when I touch it.
Oh,
Matter of fact, it turns me on.
that's sweet.
All right, what do you remember? Enough from me.
I remember your cat. You know, that was a highlight. That was nice. But actually, my mind is going more towards the medical. So, I remember the day that I put all those stickers on your trailer, and that pissed you off.
I don't remember that.
Little, like, Hello Kitty things. So
Oh.
somebody had sent me a lot of Hello Kitty things, and I thought, kind of, you know, whatever. He had a cat. It seemed good. No, I kind of remember when your godson, my child,
Yes.
really, he kind of grew up around the set, and I remember just times where it would be, I'd go, "This is your godfather," and he'd look at this person with yellow eyes, and, you know, chartreuse face, and then
He would scream, like uncontrollably.
and I remember, and he sort of was salivating on the uniform, which meant you had to go get repowdered, and then
That's right.
he didn't even know who Michael Dorn was. When he saw Michael Dorn after years, I think he was like, he didn't know who he was because he thought it was Worf, and he didn't make that connection. So there were a lot of things like that I really remember in terms of Star Trek, because my son literally was a baby, and you know, his first 3 years were on the set, and he learned to walk on the, what did we call it, where we...
The transport pad?
Yeah, no. Where did you drive?
Oh,
You drove the you know, the thing, the horseshoe.
The horseshoe,
the engine room where we all worked.
Engineering.
What?
Engineering.
The bridge.
And we were on, we were in a ship, right?
Right.
It's coming back to me, but I do remember my son learning to walk on the bridge, and he loved to fish in the ready room. Liked that a lot. Anyway.
You know, speaking of being in a ship, and this is really true, that we worked so many hours on the show. We would do between 16 and 20 hours almost every day. And so I had very little time to do anything else. And I didn't watch the show much, but occasionally I would turn it on. And when I would see the ship go by, I thought I was in it.
Yeah. No, it's true. It was so cool. But then when you would go like on vacation and you just lay down, like I remember being somewhere and I looked up and there were the stars and it was like, oh, I'm like at work, you know. It was like it looked like the backdrop and we had the star wheel, and it was just so. But
Except nobody's filming this, are they?
no.
This isn't going to be on YouTube, is it? Oh, good. That was 30 minutes, I think, for that question. Can we move on? Yes, sir. How you doing?
Hi, Brad. Hi, Gates.
Hi.
This message is actually for Gates.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
go ahead.
judge in Franklin and Bash.
Oh, thank you. One of my friends, Jason Ensler, who he's a longtime friend of mine, and he just said, "Hey, you want to do an episode?" And I said, "Yeah." So it was fun. They are very funny guys, those guys. I'll tell you, they really are funny.
Yeah. Could you please tell the story behind your name?
Oh, that's not so terribly interesting. I mean, it was my mother's side of the family came from Lithuania, and they made them change the name when they got to Ellis Island, and so they went to Gates. And Gates was that was my middle name at birth, and it was a nickname when I was a kid, Gatesy. And so I just decided, after being Cheryl Gates McFadden for a long time, I had never really felt Cheryl was right for me. I just felt there was something about things, doors opening, closing, Gates, I don't know, something. Airport, I was in the airport a lot, I thought, Gates, that's a good name. And so I just, and it kind of coincided with the Star Trek. So it was also a way of separating I had done choreography and I had done other stuff, and I don't know. Anyway, Gates is the name I really prefer. That's
Also a wonderful dancer.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. She is a sophomore in high school. Do you believe that?
What?
Yes, she was homeschooled
You're
sophomore in
in
high
your
school.
40s. How can
I
Well,
Anyway, I don't mean to embarrass you. I just kept saying, so what college, what college are you going to?
she goes to Starfleet Academy. I knew Gates when you were Cheryl, didn't I?
He did.
I did. We've known each other long before the series.
Yeah. That's part of the problem, We work it out.
I liked you better when you were Cheryl. All right. No, I like it better as Gates.
Thank you.
Yeah. Easy. You have a question?
Yes. Brent, I'm very sorry. This is for me.
No apologies necessary.
You see, the men are always that way. Yes.
You and Patrick Stewart both complained that your characters did not have enough love in their characters' lives. Well, you had each other, and through the series, there was a constant romance between you two. Given your way, how would it have ended during the series? Thank you.
You mean that I can actually talk about? I don't know what they teach you in homeschooling, but I have to be careful here. No. Well, it's true. We did start, and they were on their knees to us. That's a new thing I've never seen. Please. Okay, I feel like I should answer that, but I just had knee surgery, so. I always thought that he was quite wonderful, and I don't know the answer to that. I think the studio wanted to go a different direction because I know that was the character, I was his love interest, as it were, on the description, but he was always in my heart, and he always wrote each little notes, and I leave them under the Shakespeare book. And
I love you too, Doc.
Well, anyway, so, they did finally give me an episode where I had a love interest other than the captain, and when I was 7 months pregnant. For real. I was 7 months pregnant, and it was like, oh, I get to have a love interest in this script. I was like out to here, and I'm like, hey, okay, that's going to be really sexy. Okay. Anyway.
Who was that?
That was the Trill thing.
He was a Trill?
Yeah, and that was actually a really cool episode. Yeah.
See, but the actor, do you remember the actor? Who? Frank Loves. Was it Frank Loves? Oh, yes, Frank. Oh, Frank's a great guy. I did a little shop at Horrors with
And the
Frank.
episode was called The Trill, right? That's what I said. That was just. And you good, very good. Okay.
you have no interest in me whatsoever, I completely understand.
No, actually, you've played a lot of dual parts in a lot of episodes, like in episodes where Laura featured, and also A Fistful of Davis, where you got to play a whole bunch of characters on the holodeck. And I was just wondering, from each of you, which episode was the one that you most enjoyed working on as an actor?
Never really enjoyed it as an actor. But as an employee, I enjoyed it enormously. The entire 7 years, by the way. You know what's funny? I don't know how Gates feels about this, but we really did work such long hours for so many days, for so many years, that it seems like one long episode to me. It doesn't seem like there were different hours, because, you know, you see it, you sit down on the couch, it's 52 minutes or whatever it is with commercials, and it's over. But we were there for so long doing every, you know, scene over and over and over and all that, that it really does seem like this huge, epic thing that we were a part of. And did I answer that? No. I actually enjoyed doing the Western a lot, because Patrick also directed that one, and it was fun.
I really liked doing anything where there was any comedy for my character. I really liked. And one of the ones that was very funny, even though I was very naughty, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to unzip my jumpsuit. We weren't supposed to have zippers in that century, but I didn't know. But I really liked going back in the 40s. I thought that was the big vibe, was really fun for me, because I got to do some other things, and I got to, you know, it was just fun to do trips and to play
We
around.
had a lot of those, though, really, that were fun. I mean,
Yeah.
the tap dance,
That was fun, because we actually got to, we kind of like, were able to construct the scene ourselves, and that was really fun.
But we got to do Three Musketeers, and we got to do all kinds of
But
stuff.
you know, for me, I really, truthfully, I loved directing Genesis. It wasn't a typical Star Trek script, but I loved the whole process. I just, you know, when you're looking at these sets for so long, there were so many things that I finally wanted to use. Like, you know, those jars that had been in my sick bay since the first pilot. There were those red, blue, and I was like, I'm going to use those in the episode. Something's coming out of that. You know, it was really, and I really love directing. By the way, I'll do a little, you know, plug here. I'm directing Denise Crosby at my theater, the Outdoor Village Theater. I'm artistic director there. I don't know if you know that, Ensemble Studio Theater. And she's got a fabulous part in a new play that we're doing there. So anyway, she sends me questions. My favorite one is actually the episode director. I really love it.
Hi. I'll say that.
I think they could like get on their back and then just crawl.
I think it's a row.
Yeah.
It looks like you're the skull team, or the sculling team.
Is this ridiculous?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Both of you played very, very serious characters, but what was your favorite moment? Yes. What was your favorite moment that you actually got to goof off a lot on set, on camera?
We goofed off
Yeah,
non-stop.
nonstop. It was sort of the only way to deal with it. It was just,
Yeah.
in fact, that was one of the things, like for everybody, you go on the bridge, if you're trying to do a heavy, serious thing, you watch out, you better, you know, batten down
The more serious the scene,
Yeah.
the more we goofed off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you see a really serious, dramatic scene, realize that all the other actors are off stage.
I mean, there was one time, remember, this was, I forget the director, but you remember where one of the directors had us look at the stick, and we were all standing in a row, and they were having us look at this stick, and so all of our heads were in a row on the bridge going, and I mean, take every take, and then they couldn't use it, of course, it was like, but it was, we couldn't keep from laughing, because you just felt like an idiot. It was very
The hardest I ever laughed on the show was, we were doing an episode called Masks. See, I remember some of them. And I was playing a lot of different characters, but one of the characters I was playing was, I was the goddess of the moon. Patrick was the god of the the goddess of the moon. And it was the last day of the episode, 4 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. We'd gone that long. And I had the mask on, and Patrick was off camera laughing so hard. And he'd make me laugh, and then we were both laughing. The crew hated us. We wanted to go home so bad, and so did we, but we couldn't help ourselves. We looked so stupid.
Ça va?
My usual question when I go to some of your panel is what was the funniest thing that happened, but since that's already been asked.
No, we still have what was the funniest thing. Oh, you can ask us 10 more times. No.
Well, my other question that I usually ask is, for the two of you during that show, for each of you, what do you think was there a defining moment where you felt that your ability as an actor was at its peak and it was really reflected?
On that show.
I think she's talking about stuff.
You're kidding, right? You have an answer to that? I don't think I really ever reflected on it like that, but I spent some time thinking about it, get back to tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think maybe, I don't know if you or not, but I know that there's nothing like when you're doing live theater, it's like a start to finish performance, and there's a whole different type of adrenaline high than when you're doing little scenes or snippets, and then you wait like 2 months before you see it put together and things like that. So there are moments, but it's a different thing than actually like doing an entire show where you have been rehearsing for X number of weeks and you do it start to finish. That to me is where I would say more acting-wise, those have been my most memorable moments of acting.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey there. Alright, so this is a question about a movie, right? In Star Trek Generations, you cry yellow tears, and from the time I saw that when I was a kid, to now, I wondered how did you cry yellow tears? How did the effects team make that happen? And it kind of also begs the question, what was it like as stage actors yourselves dealing with so much practical effects, and then digital effects as well, throughout the whole experience of the show?
The yellow tears, I have yellow tears.
I thought you just had to pee really bad and everything. That was my answer when I was like 15.
Yeah, I mean, those costumes did not have zippers in them. But dealing with digital effects, I guess we learned everything we could possibly learn about dealing with digital effects and things like that, and blue screen. And I actually developed a whole school of how to act with the blue screen or green screen, whatever you're using. I wanted to teach a class in it, but it's a very simple thing. I only had one lesson. Is you just stare at it, and that's it. And it works.
And then see red silhouettes for the rest of the day.
Well, that's true. So you cry yellow tears.
Right.
But I think I had a hard time, for some reason, it really wouldn't be a surprise to you, but took me longer, I think, than anybody to understand the drill on things. Like, I remember for the whole first season, they would put sandbags, and that's when you were supposed to stop, when you would feel the sandbag, and the camera's going to stop there. And I would be so into it, I would go up the sandbags. Because to me, it wasn't the concept of that's your mark. I had a real problems with some of the hitting the mark and not making any noise, because everything was plastic. So you'd set, I had all those medical instruments, but if I made any noise, we'd have to redo it, because it would ruin somebody's line. So it's like, you're like trying to put it down, but act like it's a really,
The silliest thing we had to do was when the ship was rocked by a photon torpedo, and they would actually say, and shake! It was absurd. We were adults.
but those ended up being really long.
Oh, whenever you see us in the observation
Yeah.
lounge, that's when we want to
Yeah,
really.
everybody has it close up. It's like, oh my God, we're gonna be here for hours.
If you're around the table, there's nothing you can do. You gotta shoot everybody around the table.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let me just pitch a couple of my projects right now while there's a pause in the action. I'll be directing Denise Crosby and no, has everybody seen my web show? Fresh Hell, exactly. Fresh Hell. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube. There's a dedicated website being designed right now. But go on my website, go on YouTube for now, and type in Fresh Hell series, one word, and it'll take you to the channel. There's 5 episodes. Watch all of them. There's 10 more being made this year soon, and I think you'll enjoy it. Other than that, not Monday night, a week from Monday, watch Alphas, because I'm the guest star of that. Gabe, oh, no, you, yes, hi. Can I call you Gabe?
I don't answer to it.
Oh,
My question is for you.
Yes.
It's in the filming of the episode Brothers.
Mhm.
What was it like playing 3 separate roles and having 2 completely different sets of prosthetic makeup and filming it out of order?
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, it did afford me the opportunity of working with my favorite actor. Or should I say, actors.
So you were working with Gates?
I was going to say my least favorite actor was Spot the Cat, but that's another story. Oh, have you ever acted with a cat? Please. But you know what? It was a long day, every day on Brothers, because I had to be in at 3 o'clock in the morning to start Dr. Soong's makeup, and basically we shot in one direction. And then we shot in another direction, so I would just change clothes and get out of makeup and get into Davis makeup, and it was long, but it was very rewarding, because I got to work with one of the greats. Or should I say 2 of the greats. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, though. That was a really fun episode to do. Rick Berman wrote that episode, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. That's one of my favorite.
Thank you. I can see there's a tear.
Is it yellow?
No, it's no. Hi.
Hello, this is from Roots, but you kind of already beat me to it. I was going to ask you to give us your Patrick Stewart impersonation.
I don't do that, All right,
He
studios.
works on that in his room
I
for
do.
hours.
Hours and hours I do that. You should hear my gates.
Hey, by the way, I was fortunate enough, I don't know if any of you were able to see Patrick's Merchant of Venice this summer. It was a fantastic performance. It was, I think maybe my favorite thing I've ever seen Patrick do. He was amazing in it. So if it comes to New York, and I believe it's going to, I do encourage you to make a trip to see it because he does an extraordinary job.
Excuse me, Gaze, Brent, over here. Do you
Ah bon, oui.
That's Sir Patrick.
Ah, oui, that's
You may call me Patrick. Also Shylock. How am I performing puppet in it looks? I hate him.
But he always wants me to just go and Jean-Luc.
What's being called pancakes.
It's an honor to be in front of both of you. You inspired my choice of career.
Oh, what was that?
Acting.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a wardrobe tech. It pays better.
Kidding.
With your diversity and all the different talents that they let you exhibit, all the different character work you got to do, who was your favorite actor to get to play off of?
Well, games, of course. What? No. On the show, you know, I have worked with some astounding actors in my life. Everybody on our show was wonderful to work with. We used to love, it didn't matter what the combination was in a day. I loved looking at the call sheet to see who I was going to work with the next day. And it could be one or two or three or everybody, but it was always fun. And, but in other work, I've had some really wonderful opportunities. Probably, for me, the one that when I'm in the old actor's home, the one I'm going to be talking about is that I got to work with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. And just going to work every day was a dream. I'm going to see Jack and Walter and Donald O'Connor and Elaine Stritch, and just incredible.
And do you remember when we even, that night at the Friars Club where we met Sid Caesar
And Jonathan Winters, yeah.
That was amazing.
Awesome.
This is so
Jonathan Winters, Gates took me, you still belong to the Friars Club? No. She used to belong to the Friars Club, which is an actors club, and there was not a roast, but a tribute, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they roasted it, but it was a tribute to Sid Caesar. And all of these great guys, Larry Gelbart, fantastically funny, and Jonathan Winters was there, and we went up to him and said hello, and he did 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was like amazing.
I mean, hello sprung 20 minutes of characters and improv. It was fantastic, and Milton Berle was there that
Yeah,
night.
I know, I remember. It was like incredible. It's like, Ernest Borgnine is here, and I'm amazed, you know. I so love his acting.
When I remember Milton Berle, he was in the audience. Milton was probably 90 at the time, something like that. He was smoking a huge cigar and inhaling it. But there was a young comedian named Jeff Ross who is brilliant, and he's like the roast king. He produces all the roasts now. But I remember he got up and he said to Sid Caesar, he said, "Oh, Sid," he said, "this is just a fantastic night. I can't believe I'm here." He said, "The only thing that would make it better is if Uncle Milty was still alive." And Earl got up and went, "You be quiet!" It was just incredible. It was great eating. Anyone want a plate? I'll sign it. What was Vegas for? Was somebody eating biscuits? Who's got that?
Water.
I got it.
First time. And put it on my bill here at the hotel. Okay.
What is your question? Let's just...
Thank you, Mark. Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
So I was just wondering if either of you had watched any of the other shows, whether we're talking the original series, or Deep Space Nine, or Voyager, or the rebooted movie, or any of that stuff. And if so, which of them you enjoyed? Some that, stuff that you weren't in wasn't any good.
Well, actually, I mean, for me, I don't really watch that. I don't watch TV. Barely. I haven't seen my Franklin and Nash episode. I haven't, So I don't, after you did that many years of Star Trek, the last thing I personally felt like doing was watching something else about something on a ship that was there. When I first got the job, I had not ever seen an original Star Trek episode. After I got the job, I did not know what warp speed was, okay? After I got the job, I started watching them, and they were very funny. I thought they were wonderful. I loved the first series very much. Very camp, and also, I love the themes of Star Trek. I love all the writers are amazing on the show, and Gene Roddenberry certainly had his finger on something incredible. But I love science fiction, but I didn't watch all of the other series, so I have to say that quite honestly. But I do like science fiction and have watched it in movies, and I've read science fiction books, and I do love science fiction books. I loved the Ridley Scott Alien. Loved that. In fact, that was what I studied a lot when I was going to direct Genesis. You know, they were